3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to SQW27. We don't have a name for this yet, but we will eventually. .com/JSQ. I have no idea. It's all I got. I am Dolly Broken Calves Demovsky.
Great calves of fire.
Great calves of fire. Joining me is JJ.
The birthday boy.
Oh, it's your birthday.
Is it? Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Oh, so yeah, so coming up. Well, then, you know what? It's going to be the all birthday episode of JJ.
Yeah. We're talk about the 32 years of birthdays.
Wow, you're a youngin'. And John.
Nasal congestion Kehoe.
Wow, I like that. All of us are dealing with something. Me with my calves, you with your nasal congestion, JJ with age. But you're the youngest.
The slow march of time.
The slow march of time. So yeah, my story, and this is where things get really interesting. I am great calves of fire because I have torn ligaments in my right calf. 3 ligaments at least. I will tell you 3 stories of how my calf. How I hurt my calf, and you have to deduce which one is true, or you have to tell me which one is a lie. Okay. Story number 1. There was a raging fire on the drive into work yesterday, and I saw that there were 5 children that were trapped in the building. So I ran in and bring the kids out. I got injured. So number 1.
That's 2, a lie. It was 4 children.
It was 4 children. Number 2, I was, driving into work, and I noticed that the local Dairy Queen, the big giant sign, was falling, kind of tipping over of the big custard thingy. So I had to rescue the person that was underneath it. And by the time this thing fell down, I managed to just catch it in midair and ended up wrestling with this thing. So that's number 2. Number 3, I was walking down the stairs. That's it. I was walking down the stairs. So which one of those is the true one? Which is a lie?
You got the old Randy Orton arm injury there.
I guess so. Yeah. I had been having some. I've been having some calf issues lately, and as I was getting my daughter prepped yesterday, my old age had shown through. And walking down the stairs or somewhere in my somewhere in my house, I ended up just hearing these 3 pops and fell to the ground in pain.
Boy.
Yeah.
Old age. As my daughter said, "Daddy, why are you so old?"
Well,
that's the stage of the life that I'm in right now.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have gotten older. It's your
fault. You shouldn't have gotten older. This is what you have to look forward to, JJ. You're a few years behind me yet, but geez, good luck. So yes, I struggled to get that story out, much like we struggled to do stories for us for this week, because there really wasn't a whole ton of stuff that happened. Although somebody else did get injured. We can talk about that a little bit. See, that's a little bit of a segue.
Slightly less of a serious injury, I suppose.
Oh yeah, exactly. So that would be Braun Strowman, right? So what happened there?
It's what is his injury? Because it's something with like elbow surgery or something, wasn't it? Like some sort of arm.
Yeah,
surgery.
They kind of narrowed it down to a generic arm injury.
Yeah.
The kayfabe is saying rotator cuff, but
yeah,
I don't know if that's legit or not.
Yeah, that's storyline wise. Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking forward to 4 to 8 weeks to recover though.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So yeah, it's pushing him like past. He was going to be in the main event of. The pay-per-view that shall not be named.
Right, yeah.
But that's not
Great Calves of Fire, that pay-per-view.
Yeah. Great Calves of Fire.
Yeah, so that ain't gonna happen now. So who knows who they're gonna have? They're just gonna shove in against Brock at this point. But
yeah,
and you don't get your Extreme Rules rematch with Roman, which that's not much of a loss for me.
I guess the Brock match, unless they do some real rearranging, becomes a bit even more of a throwaway kind of affair. Like, we could be seeing, I don't know, Brock versus Kofi level of squashdom.
Yeah, wow.
but hopefully not. I don't know. I mean, they could shuffle the deck and do something interesting with Finn or Seth, but
yeah, you would hope that it would create something interesting, like they figure something out and it ends up really working. You know, like, hey, this program's really working out for us. Let's they may go for it. I mean, you have plenty of time. Everything's just sort of marching towards WrestleMania with Brock anyways, so whatever happens between every title match that Brock's gonna have this year is not gonna be anything important, probably.
yeah, because they say it's Brock versus Roman at Mania.
Yeah,
I don't know that he's in that, but that's the end game here. So whatever happens between now and then, I guess, could be anything.
Yeah, I mean, Brock could lose the title and win it back at any time.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's just gonna win it back before Mania, no matter what. That feels they don't have anyone, especially on the Raw side, to really fill in that championship role right now. As they're building up some people here and there. So.
Yeah.
The one of the rumors right now is that there'd be a #1 contenders tournament for the title.
That's probably how it's gonna wind up. I'm worried that WWE is just gonna jump the gun and just go straight with Roman. Like,
man, yeah, you're probably right. Unfortunately,
yeah.
I heard today that they're gonna put Roman with Bray.
Yeah,
while
they're already
Braun is out, but
they're doing the Finn thing with Bray right now. So,
but are they? Like, they didn't even mention it on Raw.
Yeah, but I mean, it's you never know. After Braun's injury, anything could have happened. So. You never know. You got a couple of weeks to figure something out because you still have Extreme Rules before that match. So
yeah. Well, I mean, in the interest of having an interesting conversation, why don't we book try to fantasy book our best case scenarios.
Yeah. Nice fantasy booking episode. I mean, I think tournament probably that's a good sort of situation to stretch it out for a few weeks. But it is WWE, and they've lost their big draw that they'll have at Extreme Rules. So I can totally see some sort of multi-man match at Extreme Rules. You're going to have the main event for that will be some sort of match for that #1 contendership at Great Balls of Fire at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they could have the tournament end. The final match would be some sort of gimmick match at Extreme Rules.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
they could, they want to make it hardcore, or they want to make it tables or ladder or whatever. Yeah,
it'll just be no holds barred. I mean, no disqualification. They're not going to go too crazy with it, but risk another injury of something super serious.
What was that big match they had? Where was it a Hell in a Cell where there was like 6 people and it was like a flatbed truck in the aisle and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, the one with the Rikishi spot.
Oh my gosh.
It was the 6-man Armageddon Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, that's an Extreme Rules match for you right there. Boom.
Yeah.
6-man Armageddon.
6-man.
Yeah. Rikishi with the weakest of all the Extreme Rules bumps in a while, where he fell off of the top of the cage into the truck.
Remind me, was that a good match? I'm not sure. I remember the spot, but
no, it wasn't. Like, it wasn't memorable. It was a match. It wasn't terrible. I mean, a lot of good wrestlers were in it, and there was some stuff, but it was a completely unmemorable Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
But who do you think's like, even a tournament or some sort of multi-man situation or something? Who is Roman?
Yeah, I don't want Roman, only because of how many times he's
be in no matter what, he'll be in this situation. Roman, Bray, Finn, and Seth.
Yeah. I think Roman is probably too early to pull the trigger on that, unless they're real desperate.
Yeah, I think something. I think he'll be in the running. I don't think he's necessarily going to win it, but
yeah.
But
I think Bray needs to be established again, again. before before they feed him before they go ahead and feed him to Brock. But I mean, in terms of a build and a story that they could build upon, I mean, at least Seth has said he wants the title back. He's mentioned Brock by name, and this is the target after Samoa Joe. Not that I would want them to look past that, because I think they'll probably have a pretty decent fight at Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
But at least there's a progression. Like, I'll get past Samoa Joe to get to Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
There's a path there. Then they have Finn, who kind of has nothing going on.
I was going to almost bring him up, right?
Yeah, the title he never lost kind of story.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, whether he gets past, if he fights Bray at Extreme Rules, and then he gets past Bray to move on to Brock, that's a pathway as well.
Yeah,
I just
like, what does a Finn Balor Brock Lesnar match even look like?
Right.
Despite loving Finn as much as I do, he is a very small man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to look 10 times smaller next to Brock. Like, he's going to look skinnier, he's going to look shorter, he's going to look all of it next to Brock. Like, it's going to look real weird. It's going to look like a Daniel Bryan Brock Lesnar match that people wanted those few years ago.
and is he the demon as well? I mean, that's always the question now.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Because I mean, back in the olden days of NXT, you know, the demon was the last resort in the feud.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you push me too far, and
he's not. You don't. That's the problem. Is you don't have a program with Brock, especially if it's not WrestleMania. So you're just scheduled to wrestle Brock next, and you have to interact with Paul Heyman once in a while, and that's just sort of your build for your match. So it's an uphill battle for a lot of the potential #1 contenders for Brock Lesnar, because it's like Finn won't have, like, you need build. You need to have, for Finn's best stuff is storytelling, and just having it be, you know, now he's wrestling Brock and now he wrestles Brock. Like, that doesn't work too well for Finn Balor.
Could this be something where you get the Miz mixed up in this, right? Because I think he came over from SmackDown. He could get another little put, because he was getting a pretty considerable, really interesting, push through SmackDown. And is this something where you can kind of start to feed off of that on Raw? Obviously, with Strowman out, they need to have another guy that kind of pick up that slack.
They've just spent so much time with with Dean Ambrose now that it's just, you can't just put that aside. So that's gonna have to be the Extreme Rules match, no matter what. And does Miz losing at Extreme Rules kill momentum a little bit, or does it? But he could win, but then it's, title versus title, or title and title, champion versus champion, and Great Balls of Fire kind of situation, which sometimes can create, like, it's tricky where they're at right now, because they've spent so much time building. They've been doing a very steady, slow pace with Braun Strowman leading to Brock Lesnar. It's been a path. It's been a very clear path. But they haven't had any opportunity with anyone else to even act like they're in the same category as wrestling Brock Lesnar right now.
So in Brock versus Braun, who would have been the babyface, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter in this case. Like, Brock is always going to be the default babyface in everything, even if he's the bad guy, because the fans just buy into him still. And Paul Heyman, so
true.
I mean, I don't. It would be one of those push matches where it's like, neither of them are really, like, Braun will be playing the role of monster, and like that.
Yeah,
sort of. But you can also make the case that anybody who takes on Brock is also the underdog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not. Other than just beating up, like, WWE isn't stupid. They know that the fans are really into Braun beating the hell out of these people. Yes. Like, even if it's the baby faces, they play into the fans' hatred of Roman Reigns all the time.
Yeah, they're leading into that big time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's he may not be a baby face, but Braun Strowman certainly isn't a heel either.
Yeah.
Like
You guys,
he just wants to beat up whoever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. It's just they're just gonna if they put him against him, they're gonna get thrown in a dumpster or something. You know, like
yeah.
it doesn't matter.
So did you guys watch Raw this week with
No.
when Roman?
No.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't.
I caught highlights. Yeah.
Yeah, I caught some of it too, and I did catch. Well, I mean, I had it on in the background while I was doing some other things.
That was sort of my thing. It was in my peripheral, but I was too busy playing.
I did notice that the crowd noise was particularly muted, like the chants and the all.
Yeah. We lose some
on the booze and really pushed the booze. I was surprised at that. And
you froze up for a split second there. Could you just yeah, go ahead. Say what you just said.
Yeah, so the audience noise was very muted for most of the show, but when Roman came out and the boos were really loud, it's like they turned the volume up to emphasize them even more. And
that's insane.
WWE is starting to realize that it's time to play into it. Like they have
turn into the skid.
It started at Royal Rumble where they intentionally threw Roman 30 to get that crowd reaction and to make you more interested in Randy Orton winning than anything else. Like so.
Yeah, be relieved that he won.
Yeah, so they know what they're doing, and it's not Vince knows what he's doing. It's the everyone else around Vince knowing what they're doing. Because like you see interviews with Hunter and stuff, and he gets that. Like you could just see he'll do stuff like if he's getting booed every week and stuff, isn't he already a heel and all that kind of stuff? Like, listen, guys, I know he should be a heel. I can't turn him heel, but I get it, and I agree. He's the heel in all of this, but the people. Everyone's hands are tied in this situation. Vince is
right.
So we're at where we're at. So it's just up to the writers to portray him as who he is right now, and that's just getting him the right amount of heat. So.
So those are interesting predictions or interesting fantasy cards, I guess.
Yeah. What do you think, Daly?
Oh, I said The Miz. I thought it'd be interesting.
Oh, The Miz, right? Yeah.
It would be The Miz, but a second interesting one, and this could be something that starts to set up a lot of dominoes for the rest of the year, is do you push Samoa Joe quickly enough?
You easily could.
You could.
You have to, that has to start hard and fast, and he has to decimate Seth Rollins.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have him just absolutely destroy Seth Rollins. Like, if that match starts off and it's very clear that Samoa Joe is decimating him at this point, I think we'll know that might be in the books. But yeah, Samoa Joe, it could always be a possibility. He's in the good graces of the right people, so that would actually be a very cool match to see. It may not be a great match, but just as a spectacle match,
right? Yep.
Something else. Like you would never have thought 10 years ago watching TNA or Ring of Honor or whatever of Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar.
Oh, right. Seriously.
Yeah.
I'd be into that. Oh, let's just bring back Kurt Angle. Have another Kurt versus Brock rematch.
You know what? Don't count him out. Even though he's in the Hall of Fame. No, I wouldn't do that. Most definitely not. Most definitely.
Yeah,
not.
I'm always afraid that Kurt Angle's going to die in the ring, and I feel like against Brock Lesnar in 2017,
it would be a definite.
Even if Brock Lesnar tried to kill himself in the WrestleMania 19 match against him.
Well, I did want to bring up a couple little news bites that were starting to pop up all over the web. One is that so we knew that there was a Vince McMahon biopic being worked on, but apparently Linda is no longer a big fan of this happening. She does play kind of a central role in this. She's got a big part in the film, obviously. Yeah. But some of the rumors that are just floating around, I'm looking at the one on Pro Wrestling Sheet right now, and then there were some other ones, Is that partly because of her new position in the U.S. government and some other aspects that there are potentially some issues with the way that things are starting to be portrayed, and that she just doesn't think it'll actually end up ever making it to the to the final cut there. So there has been early script drafts floating around, and like I said, she was kind of a essential part of it. But
so a major problem that you have in making a Vince McMahon documentary of any sort, especially if you're Linda McMahon, is that the early 90s is really bad, makes Linda McMahon look very, very bad, because she's a lawyer. That was like her. So there is enough paperwork in the 90s to sort of show Linda McMahon covering up a lot of that steroid allegation stuff, things like that. And like, talking, like telling people what to say and what to do and things that would be very worrisome for her to have to deal with all of that again.
All that would just bubble up into, into the public eye. And I think so.
Yeah, because during that time, it wasn't just the steroid scandal either. There was a sex abuse scandal at the time. At the exact same time. That's why Pat Patterson was fired for a short spell in the WWF back in the 90s and stuff. There was 2 events happened simultaneously that was a very bad time for the WWF. And as Linda McMahon in particular, she will not want to have those start bubbling back up in the public eye. So especially if you have, a cabinet position in particular. Although, just basing on off of everything, this is small potatoes compared to some of the other things that Trump cabinet people have been dealing with. So.
Exactly. But I doubt that they want any more fuel to any fire going on right now. A couple more little news bites. Speaking of things in government and things very presidential, The Rock again reiterated that, hey, a presidential run in the future may not be out of the question. This is in the recent GQ. The comedy issue of GQ, which is great. The Rock's biography in there and the interview with him is actually really cool. The stuff that they've been chatting with, and he is quite easily one of the most likable human beings on the planet. Right? I have not met a single person that has had anything bad to say about The Rock. Everybody's been overly positive about just him as a person. You can chalk up his wrestling persona as different things, but as a person, he comes off as very, very likable. And so
when you see him sort of doing his rounds and doing his thing, he never comes across as disingenuous.
Yes, exactly. And so he reiterated it. Now, is it going to happen? I am of the thinking it probably won't. I don't think that he's making way too much money, and he actually has quite a bit of influence right now with the art, where he's kind of gone with his movie career and film entertainment career. So I think that's probably going to be.
I don't want to live 8 years without a Fast and the Furious movie.
Exactly, right? How many more remakes of 80s TV shows are we going to get without The Rock? Baywatch coming May 20. No, I'm just kidding. But so that he mentioned it, I doubt that it will actually happen. But read the, if you get a chance, read the article. He's got some really great. There were pictures of it online that the kind of the GQ and other outlets were showing, but he's got some just fantastic outfits on. It's the fun Rock that everybody knows. The Pikachu outfit wearing Rock that everybody knows and everybody loves. So. Good for him.
Rock is super entertaining, but like his last couple of runs in the WWE, like he tried to go into the Rock mode, and
it doesn't work anymore.
It didn't work at all anymore. Like, he probably should have just been Dwayne Johnson.
Yep. Go back to just stick with Dwayne Johnson. You're fine.
The best Rock there ever was 2003 era Rock, when he was the Hollywood Rock. But that's my favorite. Rock gimmick, where he was just, hey, it's Hollywood Rock. He's just kind of a smarmy asshole. That was that was my favorite. I loved it so much.
He was good. He was really good that era. Really good.
Yeah. Fresh tattoo. Rock
era. That's true. Yeah, freshly tattooed. Yeah. A little bit more news here. Welcome little birdie, Bree
Oh, yes,
and Daniel
Birdie.
had their daughter. So yeah, look at actually not only did they, but who was it? Wesley Blake also had and his fiance Sarah Lee. She was the Tough Enough winner from 2015. They also had their child, their daughter. So yeah, and a lot of babies popping up. The next generation of wrestlers. Generation.
Main event in WrestleMania 50.
Well, maybe more like 55.
55.
So what? Who's got? Yeah, one of them is going to wrestle Hunter and Steph.
Yeah. There you go. That's
maybe they'll retire the Undertaker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then they'll finally the Undertaker comes back again for one more match. Yeah, so there you go. There's a little bit of news here and there. Yeah. Not a whole lot this week.
Undertaker's just half a brain in a jar, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Half a brain in a jar.
At some point, like I kind of just wish they would just go for it with the Undertaker. Like it's already implied that he is some sort of supernatural being. He just needs to transfer his powers into somebody else.
Like, yeah, his consciousness into some other form.
Like Braun Strowman killed Roman Reigns in that ambulance tumble, and now Roman Reigns is endued with the power of the Undertaker.
Now, if the ambulance had been hit by lightning, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd buy that then, but not.
Because remember, Bray Wyatt did steal the Undertaker's power in that one feud. That's the real thing that happened.
Oh. So while things are kind of oddly slow right now, or maybe happily slow, as we're starting to ramp up towards the summer season, maybe now we can kind of spend a little bit of time, and it won't happen this week, but maybe this is when we go into our wrestling movie sort of marathon, our little mini
shows.
Yeah, our so I'm just looking, there are dozens and dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds now of movies based on wrestling.
Oh yeah.
From obviously stuff like No Holds Barred and The Wrestler, but Legendary, which is which was John Cena and Danny Glover were in that one. You had Nacho Libre. You had Ready to Rumble.
Yeah. That led to real implications into CW wrestling.
Yep. So there have been, there've been a lot. There have been a lot. You may be able to classify over the top as thumb wrestling, but you got Body Slam, which is total cheese. Bruno Sammartino, Lou Albano, Ric Flair are in that one. That's a classic. Takedown. I'm just looking at just lists all over the place. So there are some fantastic. And there's some classic ones too. Requiem for a Heavyweight. That's 1962. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of old wrestling movies like like Luthez era kind of like Vern Gagne, I think had a.
And don't forget that Sylvester Stallone, after Rocky became really popular, Universal Pictures gave him the power to do Paradise Alley, which was a wrestling based, it was all about wrestling, pro wrestling, and New York City's wrestling underground. So there have been a lot. There have been quite a bit. Even some like really popular, Beyond the Mat was really good. Some documentaries are out there. What was the recent one that was about Olympic wrestling?
Oh yeah. I
mean, even Vision Quest, right? Vision Quest is out there. So I think there are a ton, and maybe now we can coordinate either a list or
we need to genuinely track down each. Well, I don't have to track it down, but talk of No Holds Barred and talk at length.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
because No Holds Barred, it had both the movie and a match
together.
Yeah, I haven't watched No Holds Barred in 20 years for sure.
It's on
maybe
Blu-ray
even
now, so
maybe even 25 years.
Is it on Blu-ray? I know it's on like Hulu. You can get it for like $2 on iTunes and Amazon.
Okay.
It's actually free on Hulu.
absolutely terrible, and it's well worth an entire episode of just talking about No Holds Barred.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there you go. So maybe maybe that's what we can coordinate over the next couple weeks here and get a list of these wrestling films and just kind of chat through a few of them. So, is there anything else you wonderful young lads would like to talk about today? Is there anything else bubbling up? The next pay-per-view is Backlash. The WWE is actually posting their favorite matches in Backlash history. Relive them. So, stuff like Goldberg and the Hardys and all that kind of stuff.
Can you survive the Backlash?
Can you survive the Backlash?
It's always had an interesting history because it's in that weird zone of between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, and it was kind of like perfectly placed where things used to actually happen at Backlash. So
yeah,
I mean, you get your.
It started in '99, right? That was Backlash in your house, right?
Yep.
The whole,
A lot of the names came from what they were dubbing in your houses at the time and stuff. So, they've stuck with that one for a while.
Yeah.
Backlash was always back in the day. Was that the one? It was always the post, like the one that immediately followed WrestleMania, and it was the one that had the big hooks that used to swing back and forth in the set. Yeah, that was
style.
And they had stopped Backlash from 2010 to 2015. Like there wasn't even Backlash during that time. So.
I can already name, I'm pretty sure, the best Backlash of them all, which would have been Backlash 2000, which had The Rock against Triple H in the main event, and that was like. That should have been the WrestleMania main event. It shouldn't have been the 4-way with all the bullshit that went on with that. That was a terrific event, that Backlash 2000.
Yeah,
it's true. That was really good. Yep. And last year, of course, Backlash is now a SmackDown event. Last year, it took place in September after they kind of redid the whole.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. September 11th.
Yeah, because they brought it back at the last minute. Kind of like it was like a weird, like they needed to shove an extra pay-per-view in there with the new networks. Like, wasn't it like it was like a network exclusive? It wasn't even like pay-per-view. It was like
something.
Something like
Roblox,
they did with Hell in a Cell that one year. When the network was brand new.
And that was AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so are we going to do a Backlash prediction show next week? Is that what?
Yeah, for sure. Yep. That sounds it. Oh wait, Backlash is the 21st.
Oh.
That's this weekend, isn't it?
No, that's next weekend.
That's weekend.
Oh, that's next weekend. Wow, my dates are all screwed up. There we go. That's next weekend. I keep thinking it was this weekend. Good to know. Yeah, you can tell how my days are all screwed up. This weekend is Mother's Day, which okay, good deal. All right,
I'll throw one small topic in.
Yes, yeah.
How do we feel about the handling of Nakamura?
It feels like there's too many chefs in the kitchen trying to get him on TV.
Interesting.
Like every week it's a little something different that they're trying to like exposure-wise with Nakamura. Like first week it was that weird promo interview segment. Next week it was like not quite a physical altercation. This week it was a physical altercation. Like, it feels like they're just trying to throw everything they can. Just like clearly Vince doesn't like. He's a Japanese guy. The fans aren't gonna buy into him. Kind of situation. Like
the thing I noticed this week, and maybe it was last week and I missed it, but definitely this week, they've started calling him the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's somebody who doesn't get it, right? Like, they can just let him happen, and without having to be like,
no,
he's the artist and he's different. God damn it.
That strictly as a Vince McMahon thing. Like he's him out there doing his like poses and his dancing and stuff, and he's like, he looks like Prince or something. Like
who's that guy?
Just the first promo with Dolph Ziggler and stuff, where they kept making Michael Jackson references and stuff. Like it's just weirdly out of touch. Like he's wearing a red leather jacket. Okay.
Just let him be.
Too, I guess. Like, what do we?
Like, I mean, every audience who's seen him so far has has sang along with his theme song without
They
any
cheer
prompting, without
everything he
any
does,
promo.
They scream his name. It's
They
like,
understand, they get it, right? I just don't. It just screams to me like someone doesn't know what they've got, and
yeah.
I think in NXT they knew it. They knew what they had,
Oh, yeah.
and but you would have thought that transition would be
Much
like
smoother than it was. But
somebody should have had a package that said, here's what he is in a nutshell, and here's you just let it happen. Like that, his debut in NXT, the way they did it, like there was a build up and excitement, and he faced somebody who he didn't really have a feud with, but they had an incredible match, and he won, like with the Sami Zayn match, and like that debut was just pitch perfect. Like, just how to make someone seem like a big deal.
Yeah, and we still have one more week without a match at a Nakamura but Nakamura being on TV. Oh yeah, right. The second week it was just a video package of Nakamura.
Right,
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Like they just like it's like they're just everyone gets a hand at trying to put Nakamura over, even though he doesn't need help being put over. Like there are people there that refuse to accept that at a given time Nakamura was the most popular wrestler in the world. Like, not like just because he wasn't popular in the WWE doesn't mean he wasn't popular literally to everyone else on the planet. Like, and they just refuse to accept that. They need to shape Nakamura into their own being, even though in NXT Nakamura being Nakamura was more than enough.
Worked just fine.
More than enough.
I don't need them to say, "Isn't he cool? Isn't he weird? How cool and weird is he?"
Yeah, the commentary does him no justice.
No,
because when you have those guys out there who just have to parrot back what Vince McMahon says in their earpiece and just like make references to how he moves, make references to what he wears, make references to it's weird and it's bad. It's not.
He's also not like Prince at all.
Yeah, it's like we don't need. What does that even mean? The artist known as like what is that saying?
Just because he does the thing and he does this stuff like.
It's not like again, we want to say Prince, but Prince was the artist formerly known as.
Right.
So like the artist known as like the art of wrestling, is that? Is that just talking down to literally everybody else on the roster? That everyone else is just a superstar and he's an artist.
He's an artist, right?
Let's put Nakamura in this box that you can understand, and that's not how it needs to be. Like, that's okay when you're transitioning from one show to the other, so that you can understand what you have. But Christ, you don't need to pound us over the head.
Yeah, you don't need to give Shinsuke Nakamura a nickname. Like
no. I mean, all over the website, WWE.com, he's labeled as the King of Strong Style, and it's just all over the place. Right?
Like, at least that was just sort of his gimmick. It wasn't a name. It was
right. Yep.
Like, because he had those T-shirts in New Japan and stuff where he was the King of Strong Style, but like that was his gimmick. It was he's bringing Strong Style wrestling back.
Yes,
like, that made sense. But like having that be his name is like, it's just like how everyone back in the day, like he was Swag. Like that was like his nickname to the fans. Nobody ever actually called him that, like on commentary or something. That was just his nickname. Right. Like that's what we called him. So it's weird. It's all weird, and it's just WWE wanting to just take him like Play-Doh and mold him into the put him in a little box, like you said, and like here he is in a sort of diluted form that you like are constantly like like. The Nakamura concentrate is
the Nakamura concentrate.
Look at his.
Yeah, that's right. They're selling marketable like Nakamura Tassimo cartridges. Here you go. You just press the button and you have a nice.
Brew your own Nakamura.
I do not want Nakamura juice. Concentrated Nakamura juice.
Really get your weekend started.
It'll be curious to see. I'm very curious to see where they go with it.
The match will be good.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
I have confidence in that match. It's the storytelling leading into the match and after the match and the commentary. It's just all going to be miserable.
yeah. I mean, if Corey Graves was doing commentary, I'd be a little more confident.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to the match, but I hate what they're doing right now. With every week, it's something new with Sway that they got going on, and it's just.
Well, that's coming up. We'll make our predictions next week, and we'll hopefully get the chance another winner.
I have to get my title match in because there is a time limit. Like if you don't get your title within X amount of days, I could get it stripped, and I don't need.
That's true. Yeah, we will have to set up some more ground rules for title ownership. But gentlemen, thank you. We turned nothing into something this week. We had a good show. Yeah, we had a good, great discussion. And next week we're gonna start ramping up with Backlash and maybe even start a little bit of the movie talk as our summer viewing session begins. So I'm kind of excited about that. But
summer blockbusters.
SQW. Yeah, our next episode will be SQW Blockbuster. With that said, you can find us at SQW Podcast on Twitter. Please rate and review us on iTunes. It really does help. The goal will be to get us recognized as the number one. Well, we already are the number one podcast, but the number one fan podcast about wrestling in the universe. You can find us on sidequesting.com. Find us individually at the Twitters. I'm at Dolly Demovsky. John, where can they find you?
I am at John Kehoe.
And JJ.
__letter J.
Wonderful. Everybody, thank you for joining us on this week's SQW. I gotta get a good call. I gotta get like a good closing, we'll see you on the mat or something.
What the world is watching.
What the world is watching.
Listening to.
Both.
The greatest podcast in the history of our business.
We're gonna buy out the other wrestling podcasts.
We're gonna inject the podcast world with a lethal dose of poison.
Yeah, it's just gonna be we could just do wrestling quotes for the next hour and a half.
And we probably the testicular fortitude to host a podcast.
Great fruits of fire.
Yeah.